And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Friday. It's May 1st. It's 2026. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you are going to have a good weekend. I had a great evening last night as my New York Knicks played the game of a lifetime. I hope they bottle it for the rest of the playoffs. Wow. That was fun to watch. Anyway, in case you don't know, besides the Knicks, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry. Tariffs. Oh, the president took off a tariff and he put on a tariff. You know, I have this thing that I think when he gets bored, he just adds a tariff or takes off a tariff. He added a tariff to something in Europe on cars and he took off a tariff for alcohol to the United Kingdom. Whatever. And we'll do war and oil prices and all that other crap. And if you do not get this show in your city, this radio show, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. That's all you got to do is be nice. We'll be nice back, no matter what, unless you like Hamas. Then we got a problem. You know what I'm going to start with today? I'm going to say 2 weeks ago, give or take a couple of days. I just warned all of you about Spirit Airlines. By the way, this is you and your money and your life and the markets and all that. I warned you. I had said to you, if they're not saved, they're going out of business. They're going to shut their doors. They're going to get rid of their slots, their jets. Over. Everybody loses their jobs, unfortunately. If a deal is not done with the government, well, it does not look like a deal is going to be done with the government. And I think there's a shot here. It's over in the next, maybe today, maybe the next day. This is an outcome. They started out low cost and realized that they cannot stay in business low cost, so they went the a la carte, and by the time you add everything you need, I mean, I'm surprised they don't charge you for oxygen on the plane. If you want a good seat, you know, it adds up. And competition was fierce, so airlines met them. And if they go out, well, just so you know, airline prices will go up. If they go out, airline prices will definitively go up. Why? There's one quote-unquote low-cost carrier go bye-bye. And what will end up happening now is they're pretty big here in Orlando. They will, I don't know exactly, do they sell the slots, whatever. As far as the planes, I gather that I think they're leased. They'll move on. And I gather all the other airlines have been looking at this for the last few weeks, if not longer. What if, they fly from here to there. Oh, we don't. Let's see how they were doing they were doing fine from here to there. Maybe we'll take over that slot. That's what you're going to see a lot of if, in fact, they do go out. Looks like this whole rescue deal is falling apart. I am not a big fan of the government getting involved. But let us not forget, a reminder. As I have said to you, I thought Joe Biden's 4 years, the worst 4 years in history for this country. And we're not talking about, GDP was this and that. Just remember, we are the economy, and if we're going to work, there's so much they can do to hurt us, even though they did. One of the things I was really pissed off about, JetBlue offered to buy Spirit for $4 billion. And the Biden Justice Department, those idiots, blocked the mergers and acquisition deal, claiming it would take out the low-cost airline operator from the market and hurt consumers. Well, the outcome is, you're going to have a lot of people out of jobs. How's that? They're now going to all have to be looking for jobs. And to fill all those slots, I'm not so sure. And I don't know if the JetBlue thing would have worked or not, but that was the move. But the Biden administration was a bunch of schmucks. There were other things they blocked also. And I will never forgive that man for two very important things. On purpose, opening the border, letting millions of people in, and they had to admit, we don't know who's in. What do you mean you don't know? You don't know if a terrorist is in here? Well, we think that's number one. And number two, never said a freaking word when Jewish students were being accosted and threatened and beat up on college campuses. Not a freaking word. That dumbass. I will never forgive him. And let me just tell you, those two things put our lives in jeopardy, and that. Not to mention, he raised single-handedly the size of government by $1.8 trillion a year with a frickin' lie. Besides the fact he pardoned his family that they committed a bunch of crimes. I can go on and on. Anyway, so that's with the Spirit Airlines. For those that have tickets, I don't know what the outcome is. They've been in bankruptcy. It will be a liquidation. I don't know if you lose your flight, are you going to get money? I don't know. Will somebody take that over? I don't know. That's why 2 weeks ago we warned you about it. If you have flights, you may want to, Now, it's not done yet. But man, oh man, there are quite the rumblings that today they're prepared to shut down. Today. And it's just a matter of, how do I put this? Not a very well run. And in 44 million passengers. I don't have 25 numbers. Total number 44 million in 24. That's a lot of passengers that other airlines are going to be frothing at the mouth. So that's Spirit Airlines for you, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the Dow was down 152. The NASDAQ was up 222. That's kind of the story. Today, Dow was down 152. NASDAQ was up 222. So a few things of note. Number one, that underestimated artificial intelligence trade. Underestimated. That's all I can tell you. As I look at my screens today, strength in the construction of data centers, supposedly. Strength in optical, strength in electronics, strength in memory, and just all that. That's the story. I'm starting to wonder something. That's up next. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So let me be careful with my words. I want to hearken back to 99. In 1999, I gave you the story. I told you the story. There was somebody in my shop that was the broker to a very famous, one of the top home building companies in the United States. And they asked me to help out. So I went and met with them, and I met the CEO and the CFO. At the time, we were in the frenzy of technology, internet, and the like. And at the time, a ton of things were being left for dead. At the time, home building stocks were trading at 1 times earnings. 1 times. Walmart was trading at 56 times earnings at its high. I remember like EMC and some others were 100 to 200 times earnings. And I remember visiting, and the CEO says, "Are they ever going to buy my stock again?" Because it was 1 times earnings. They did not understand. And I said to the CEO, the best answer I can give you, eventually. That was what I said to him. Eventually. And I left it just like that. And of course, the market topped out, and guess what the strongest stocks in 2000 was? The market left a lot of things for dead as the institutions just kept plowing into an area. It created climax runs that we had never seen before. I remember I had Oracle went up 5-fold in a matter of months. My last trade was Qualcomm. No, excuse me. My last trade was others, but Qualcomm into the frenzy was my last move. And I remember, I'm going back right now, including splits, I bought it at 60. It hit 100 in 4 days, closed at 80, and I was pissed off, and I sold it the next day. I think it closed at 90, and I sold it at 80. Qualcomm, on its run from November, went from 20 up to 100. It created climactic runs. Simple as that. Oracle broke out at $12 in November, topped out in March at 45. I was in that one. My last sales were Labor Day of 2000, because what was still acting well at the time was, I believe it was Nortel, Nokia, I think I had one other. And then Intel warned a day after Labor Day, and all hell broke loose. Throughout that time, when that November of 99 to March of 2000, the climactic move, everything else was pretty much left for dead. Financials moved up with it. Things like that. But I'm looking at a home building stock that went from 12 to 5. Not going to mention who. And I'm just wondering about a climactic move that will end the move. I keep being told it's different this time because back then they didn't have earnings. Well, that's a lie. There were things with no earnings back then, but there were a ton of things with earnings that were working. I owned them. So we'll see. Because again today, SanDisk, which was down $100 overnight on earnings, finished up 90. Seagate 53. Light 47. By the way, some of these report early next week, so you got to be careful. So just letting you know, that is not a prediction. I'm just posing the question to moi, because when I do my scans, I can specifically tell you that retail sucks, housing sucks, housing related sucks, airlines are weak, cruise lines are weak, hospitals are weak, just about everything medical weak. Defense stocks just topped out pretty badly. Autos are weak. Insurance weak. Consumer staples weak. You've had a better tone to financials, but versus the AI stuff, they are spam compared to filet mignon. Software, gotta tell you, it's starting to be better. Little better. But comparison, spam to filet mignon, again, nothing against spam, by the way. I've been to Hawaii 12 times and they love spam there. So just letting you know. Something I'm watching. Something I'm thinking about. We'll let you know as it keeps going. But today again, the building construction for data centers, supposedly, optical, memory, some weird stuff that I don't even understand what they do, and all that crap. Strong. And by the way, software had a good day today. Twilio, a software stock, gapped up into new high ground. A rare occasion. TWLO. Just letting you know. So that's just a little bit of that. Boy, that's a real nice looking gap move on Twilio. Go take a look at TWLO, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, up next, a Nazi guy for Senate. That's up next on Investor's Edge. So it begs the question, what the hell's the problem with the people in Maine? Do you know we have 50 states? I've been in 48 of them. Maine is a state I've never been in. I've never been in Maine. I am cheating a little bit because I have been in Alaska, but kind of not really. I was on a flight that had to stop in Alaska. So I say I've been in Alaska. It was like an emergency landing. We had to stop there. So I say I've been there, so maybe I haven't. Anyway, Maine Governor Janet Mills has dropped out of the Democratic primary, conceding the race to a guy named Graham Plattner. They're pinning his chances, and I believe it's a blue state. He's a candidate with a Nazi tattoo. He is now the presumptive Democratic nominee for Senate against Susan Collins, the incumbent. The Democratic Party are now ignoring this guy's resume. It's bare enough that he is very left. He's had a large tattoo of a Nazi symbol. He finally had it covered up on his chest, but only after its existence became knowledge. He has blamed Israel for the assassination of John F. Kennedy. He once urged women concerned about sexual assault to take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. Now, in case you don't know, the Nazis under Hitler murdered 12 million people, 6 million of them Jews. In case you don't know, they did experiments on people like when you're in elementary or junior high school and you do experiments on frogs. They tortured children. They burned them. They put them in gas chambers. They burned them to a cinder, smoke coming out of the chimneys of places like Auschwitz. They laughed at people as they shot them in the back of the head. They destroyed generations and generations of people. And again, 12 million, not 6. 6 million Jews. And when Hitler was finally caught, the wimp, the coward, killed himself. I hope it was painful. Yet this man has celebrated Nazis, and he is going to be running for Senate in the United States of America in Maine against Susan Collins, who could take her or leave her. What in blue hell is going on? Is my question. And you may be asking, Gary, come on, let's do markets and the economy. We got a communist running New York City, Seattle, where this Seattle mayor came out and said she doesn't give a crap if all the rich people leave. People are vote, and you know I'm no Trump fan. I would take Rubio 1,000 times over Trump. But people of Nazi? A Nazi? A Nazi? Oh, he took the tattoo. I don't give a crap. I'm going to do my part. I don't know if my part helps or not helps. All I can tell you is ask the question, what the hell is the matter with the people in Maine? Yeah, let's vote for the Nazi. The Nazi. Why don't we have Luigi run for governor of New York? All right. I'll cross that one out for today. What else? As I mentioned to you, software kind of starting to do that stair step. The turning, we already talked about it trying to turn the corner. It pulled back to the 50-day moving average that it's now above and really had a good day today. But you know what else had a good day today? Is Bitcoin. And as we've told you, Bitcoin and software topped out around the same time and may be bottoming out at the same time. I don't know what that correlation will be. I'm just letting you know there kind of is a little correlation. We'll let you know. Just a better tone, and one stock broke out today. Of course, I'm watching Microsoft, and that's off the lows, nothing special. I'm watching Oracle, had a good day today. Nothing special, but what we call a higher low and a stair step from the lows. We'll see what happens. Other stuff, Apple finished up $9 today. I must tell you, I thought it would do a lot better. At one time today, Apple was up $17. Finished up $9, which is still fine. In the midst of 6-7 months of trading range, their numbers were pretty darn good. I have no complaint about their numbers, and I have to tell you, amazing 17% revenue growth for a company that did $111 billion in revenues. I think that's fantastic. Fantastic. And other ones, Amazon, 17% revenue growth. You know what they do in revenues a year? Let's see. 330, 530, 540, 640, 720 billion in revenues. And you know why? I told you. I was at an Office Depot. I saw Post-it notes. I decided to go on Amazon. Amazon was 40% less. I don't know how they do it, but they sure as hell do it. Bezos, he be the man. Whatever they do. What else is going on? As I mentioned, Trump took off a tariff on alcohol in the UK, put on an auto tariff in Europe. I thought the Supreme Court came in and said no. So I don't know what the hell's going on. There's so many moving parts to that crap. I wish the president would stop with this bull crap. There is no reason to have tariffs. Oh, it's negotiated. He ain't winning those negotiations. I don't get it. And for all you conservatives that all of a sudden love tariffs, you're not conservative. That's a hiking of taxes. And of course, he fibbed again today about who's paying for it, unfortunately. Anyway, let's just hope he doesn't go back to Liberation Day. Let's just hope. Oil prices dropped a little bit today. Good to see. Any drop right now is a good drop. The Republicans need to get oil prices down. As I have said to you, I know a lot of Republicans that are quite independent now, and a lot of MAGA that are going bye-bye. They need to be working on that. Up next. Yeah, what else? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, this will be interesting. The president has said that he has terminated hostilities with Iran, despite no deals, and the Straits of Hormuz still not in great. So I think they realized they get nothing out of war. And it only hurt. So I think this ceasefire is not going to change. But We're still up there on oil prices, $100. And I can tell you that is not good for Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob. So more is going to have to be done. How do you all feel about it? You happy what you're seeing at the pump? You Uber and Lyft drivers, you happy right now? You're not as profitable anymore, are you? So something's got to get done along those lines. But I think this is a very smart move on his part. No more missiles, no more bombs, no more this, no more that. It's quieted down. That's okay. I think that's a smart move. And again, factoring in, I'm getting a lot of emails from people in their businesses what oil prices are doing to the business. It ain't helping. We'll keep you informed. But when I see retail, airlines, cruise lines, restaurants getting hammered, it tells you, consumer. AI is its own little area of the market right now. Stay tuned. In the Dow today, Amgen down 18 on earnings. And I think what the story is, as we have said to you, we think medical stocks are mostly bearish and are avoids. That didn't help today. Apple, though, was up 9. Amazon up 2. Amazon was up 8 today, so pulled back. Better tone in the software. So Salesforce.com up 7. Still dead duck. Microsoft up 7. That helped the Dow today. We'll see how it goes. Weakness remains. I have to tell you, I'm going visiting a couple of them this weekend. Home Depot is sitting right at new yearly lows. And as you know, we have been avoids on the housing and housing related. I'm going to go visit and see what's going on there. Stocks like Pool. Guess what they do? Pools. Near yearly lows. Restoration Hardware. Near yearly lows. We know the housing business, a little troublesome, but wow. Big wows. Very big wows. And I have to put out a question to you guys, if any of you know. Why is Tractor Supply stock crashing? Tractor Supply. The stock is crumbling. If any of you know anything about Tractor Supply, let me know. I'm going to do some work. I know numbers, but it's got to be more than that. People aren't buying tractors and stuff like that? But back on the big story, this artificial intelligence. Underestimated, kids. And today again, Dow down 152, NASDAQ up 222. Guess where all those stocks are hidden? Well, not actually hidden. In the NASDAQ. Software, better. I would suggest still on big avoids, but I'm going to be looking at this Twilio and a couple of others that are acting better. If software can get going, that would be a big help. This NASDAQ is doing what it's doing without software stocks, which is quite the amazing. Other great reaction to earnings today, Reddit. Stock's been dead. Good reaction. The CBOE gaps to a new high. Good reaction. Seagate recently, another good day. Good reaction. Eli Lilly was in the doldrums. Nice little gap yesterday. Another $28 today. Still way off the highs though. And the drug group remains pretty much in a bear market. So I'd be very cautious. Gold, nothing going on right now. The late January climactic move in gold and silver, we simply told you we thought if that's climactic, it's going to be months. And that's exactly what's going on. It does not mean the bull market is over. It's just stop for now. And we'll let you know if it gets better again. Silver remains much worse than gold. Google, Alphabet, good gap on earnings also. To be watched. Sat today. No biggie. So pretty good. Apple, Amazon, Google, good reaction to earnings. And even weak Tesla may have been waking up today. And have a great weekend. Drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well, be well. Go Knicks. Have a good one. Good night.